Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of College Football Takeover. Today is SEC Thursday, the first SEC Thursday of the year. As we get ready, we are just 2 days away from week 0 and the start of the college football season. But before we dive into all that, let's get to the trivia question of the day. The category is football north of the border. Which 2024 NFL draftee played in the CFL in 2023? Was it A, Quantez Stiggers, B, Matthew Bergeron, C, Sidney Brown, or D, Chase Brown? I will repeat the question. The category is football north of the border. Which 2024 NFL draftee played in the CFL in 2023? Was it A, Quantez Stiggers, B, Matthew Bergeron, C, Sidney Brown, or D, Chase Brown? Put your answer in the comments. I'll answer that at the end of the episode. Today's football birthdays are Frank Lehigh, Rob Burnett, Michael Dean Perry, and Scott Steadwell. So happy birthday to those gentlemen. Those are your football birthdays and your football trivia question for Thursday, August 27th, 2026. College football starts in 2 days, so let's get to previewing these SEC teams. Starting out with Alabama. They had a long quarterback battle for the entire offseason, okay? But they finally named redshirt freshman Keelan Russell, who has never started a game in his life in college football. And they went with him instead of senior Austin Mack. So that's kind of a bold decision. I think most people will agree that Austin Mack would have been playing it more safe because he started a game, he's more experienced, while Keelan Russell has a higher ceiling. You don't know what you could get from him. He's a former 5-star. So if you want to play it safe and pretty much know you're going to have a pretty solid quarterback, go with Austin Mack. But Keelan Russell, if you want kind of a, mysterious quarterback, we don't know, could be fantastic, could be not so good. Because he's a 5-star recruit, but 5 stars can flop. So just because you're a 5-star doesn't mean you're automatically this fantastic quarterback. How will it transition into the college level? So he has the upside of maybe being a Heisman contending guy, but you don't know. He could be bad. Like DJ Lagway, love him. He's been kind of trash. You never know. Even though they're a 5-star, they're not necessarily this incredible quarterback. So Keelan Russell brings more hype and has an higher upside. But Austin Mack has a higher floor. But they went with Keelan Russell, so we'll see how that plays out. Alabama, I think, could go 7-5. I mean, it's a tough schedule. At Vanderbilt could be sneaky. At Tennessee, hosting Texas A&M, hosting Georgia. It's scary for Alabama. I don't have a lot of faith in Kalen DeBoer. Yes, he had big shoes to fill, but I don't know if he should have left Washington. I do not have a lot of faith in Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, fresh off of a quarterfinal exit season. Yeah, you won a college football playoff game, but yeah, you lost by 35 to Indiana. I'm just saying, it's been a bit of a rough time for Alabama lately. Missed out on the playoffs first year under DeBoer. So how do they get things going? I don't think they make the playoffs. I mean, we'll see for sure because I'm doing my college football playoff bracket tomorrow, but I'm not feeling the good playoff vibes right now at Alabama. Georgia is next up. The Georgia Bulldogs. They got Kirby Smart. Obviously, always going to be great as long as Kirby Smart's there. But you look at it and you're like, wait. They've had back-to-back one-and-done times in the college football playoff. They've gone 3 consecutive seasons since playing in the national championship. Because they missed out that one year, despite going 12-0 in the regular season, lost to Alabama in Nick Saban's final game in the SEC championship, and missed out because that was the last year of the 14 playoff. Smoked Florida State by 60. But then, 2 years ago, Carson Beck gets hurt, and you lose to Georgia. To Notre Dame, one and done. And then this past year, Ole Miss stuns you. So Kirby Smart's feeling we don't want a round 1 bye. So maybe they're going to purposely drop a game. I doubt that. I highly doubt that. But they're feeling the vibe of, hey, maybe we don't want the round 1 bye because we're 0-2 with it. Been up several times. So we shall see what goes on with Georgia because people are kind of overlooking it. Yeah, they've been great teams because in order to get a round 1 bye, you have to be a great team. especially if you're in the SEC and they had a perfect regular season the year they missed out. But the standard at Georgia is higher than that. They have to be competing for a national championship, and they're competing, but they're not. They haven't played in the national championship in 3 years since they repeated. It's been a bit of a struggle bus. They have not been one of the Final Four standing teams. So given the standard at Georgia, it's been a bit concerning. The Auburn Tigers. They had some hype last year bringing in Jackson Arnold. He struggled at Oklahoma, but maybe he can be good with Hugh Freeze. Spoiler alert, he was not good. Hugh Freeze got canned. Yeah. So now you're bringing Alex Golesh, good coach at South Florida. Alex Golesh also brought in his quarterback from South Florida, Byron Brown. So there's some hype around year one for Alex Golesh. People think he was a good hire. Maybe I don't know much about him. Like South Florida, they beat Florida, they beat Boise State, but then I don't really know much else about that team. So we shall see. Byron Brown, from my understanding, is a very good mobile quarterback. So you get some fun stuff there. We shall see what goes on with Auburn. They can be maybe a sneaky team. Like LSU goes down there. Jordan-Hare Stadium can be sneaky. You could see some upsets. Like, you do not want to go into Jordan-Hare Stadium this year. Excuse me. Next up, Vanderbilt. All know I'm a big Vanderbilt fan. Pennant back there. All the things. No more Pavia. No more Eli Stowers. So your star quarterback who finished the second in Heisman voting and his top target both leave. Or both are done. But Clark Lee's still there. Clark Lee is a heck of a coach. And this is a team that this year I wouldn't expect massive things out of. Like maybe Jared Curtis will start. I don't think they've named a starter yet. And then you kind of just get a feel for things. But then next year, Jared Curtis will be the dude down there, and you can start thinking maybe playoff vibes. This year, I'd say the expectation or what you should expect and want is a bowl game. If Vanderbilt's making a bowl game, having a winning season, if they go 7-6 like in 2024 season, I'd consider that an acceptable season. Like normally 7-6, that's bad. But this is kind of just a regrouping year. You know, the Pavia era is done. And just getting the vibes of Jared Curtis. They can be sneaky. Bama goes down there. Ole Miss goes down there. Like, they're still a sneaky team that can pull off upsets. I don't know if Curtis is starting or not. But this is just kind of a regrouping year. We shall see how it goes. Tennessee Volunteers. I don't know if they've named a starter. And first year with Jim Knowles, they fired the defensive coordinator. No more Joey Aguilar. He tried to come back, but they couldn't get him back. Tennessee, they have some sneaky games. They host LSU. They host Texas. They host Alabama. And you don't want to be going into Neyland. I've never been to Neyland Stadium, but seeing the environment, yeah, you do not want to go down there. So the fact that they get Alabama, LSU, and Texas all at home, and if Jim Knowles, like, year one at Penn State was bad. That year at Penn State was bad. But if he can go back to his Ohio State days, you're going to have a heck of a defense. And knowing Josh Heupel, yeah, you have a new quarterback, but you're going to have a heck of an offense. And the fact that you get Texas, LSU, and Alabama all at home, sneaky team, potentially. Speaking of Texas, the Texas Longhorns. What's going on with them? Arch Manning. Some people I bet are like, why are we going through this Heisman hype thing again? We know he's a failure. Actually, he ended the year with 14 touchdowns, 2 picks in like the last 6 games. They went 7-1 in their last 8 games. They brought in Cam Coleman, former 5-star recruit, transfer from Auburn. I'm feeling the good vibes. I think they brought in Will Muschamp as their offensive coordinator or something. I'm feeling the good vibes. But they have a tough schedule. Hosting Ohio State. Going to Neyland to play Tennessee, like I already mentioned. Oklahoma, obviously, at the neutral field. Hosting Ole Miss. At LSU. And at Texas A&M. It is scary. That is not a schedule I would like to be going up against. Because there's an opportunity for 3 losses by the middle of October. But I've got them winning all 3 of those games. The only game I think they lose is at LSU. I'm not super high on Texas A&M. I just said Tennessee can be a sneaky team, But I don't think things are going to click year one under Jim Knowles. We don't know their quarterback situation. Oklahoma, I'm high on them, but I don't know if I'm as high on them as I am Texas. I had Texas number 1 in my preseason rankings. I said they were going to win the Natty and Arch Manning was going to win Heisman. We shall see if they're my Natty pick officially in tomorrow's bracket video. Excuse me. And find out if I'm still rocking with Arch Manning when I predict Heisman tomorrow. But I am feeling good vibes. I mean, the schedule's a gauntlet. It might be. I've talked about how tough Ohio State's schedule is. This one might be tougher because, yeah, they get lucky and they get to host Ohio State instead of Ohio State having to go on the road to play Texas. But Tennessee on the road it might be tougher than Iowa on the road. And there's just a lot going on. But it's a brutal schedule, but I think they can overcome it. Oklahoma. Talked about them. I am high on them because they brought in Trail Harris from Virginia at wide receiver. Parker Livingstone from Texas. Yeah, he went to the rival, which is crazy. So you brought in 2 good wide receiver weapons who like 700 yards and 600 yards or something last year. They're good wide receivers. Last year, I talked about this on my collab with Witty CFB. They felt like the Iowa of the SEC, especially in that Missouri game. Boring. But John Mateer, I didn't agree with him being the Heisman favorite, but he was the Heisman favorite before he broke his hand. And John Mateer said, yeah, that impacted him more than it was being reported, more than he even thought. Maybe he's just saying that to be like, oh yeah, it was a bigger injury than we thought. But maybe he's being realistic. If he is, Heisman caliber season. So you give him 2 new wide receiver weapons. He's back at full health after an off season. Heisman talk all around. And as long as Brent Venables is there, you're going to have a heck of a defense. Good wide receivers, Heisman caliber quarterback, heck of a defense. Best in the SEC potentially. They were last year in my opinion. I'm feeling the good vibes. I'm thinking more 10-2 though. At Georgia, Texas at a neutral field. I do not know about those games, but I'm feeling good vibes. Moving on, Texas A&M. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about them. Like they lost their offensive coordinator, Colin Klein. He takes the Kansas State job. And Marcel Reed is an iffy quarterback. He was kind of in the Heisman talk last year, but they scored 3 points against Miami. He threw a game-sealing interception in the end zone. He's not a great quarterback in my opinion. I don't know what to think. Mike Oakley's a solid coach. I'm feeling more 2024. I'm looking at their schedule. I'm saying 7-1. I'm saying they lose at South Carolina. I'm saying they finish 8-4. I'm seeing a 7-1 start. South Carolina starts a collapse. I'm feeling those vibes, the 2024 vibes, which would be a disappointment. A lot of people, I heard this from Josh Pate show, and just people are saying it, I've heard, from Josh Pate, but apparently people are saying that, Texas A&M will be the top 10 team that finishes unranked, and I'm feeling those vibes too. I don't know. At Alabama, hosting Texas, it's not a super easy schedule. It'll be interesting to see. This time, no Notre Dame, who they beat last year, though. So I don't know what to think about Texas A&M. Next up, LSU. I have high regards and high hype for the LSU Tigers this season. You bring in Lane Kiffin, obviously. Charlie Weiss Jr. Yesterday I mentioned how Iowa has the best defensive staff. Ferentz, Phil Parker. They have the best offensive duo and staff with Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. So things are going to get spicy down there. Sam Levitt was banged up, but he has the playoff experience. Yes, I think Scadaboo was the main reason. I think we can almost all agree on that. But still, he's good. And Trinidad Chambliss was a no-name from Ferris State, and Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin turned him into greatness. They can make Sam Levitt even better. Or maybe Trinidad was just a hidden talent, but I am feeling the good vibes at Auburn. I mentioned it in Jordan Hare. That gets scary. They host Texas, which is tough. Hosting Texas A&M at LSU in that. I don't miss in that crazy game. Game day is going to. LSU is participating in College Game Day twice in the first 3 weeks. We know for sure they are participating twice, and only 3 weeks have been announced. Because week 1, it's going to their campus when Clemson comes to town for the Kiffin debut. And then in week 3, it's going down to Oxford. Even though that could be 2 one-on-one teams. Ole Miss could lose against Louisville in the game I'm attending, and LSU could lose to Clemson. But, so it's scary. Hosting Clemson, which who knows how Clemson could be sneaky good. We don't know. At Ole Miss, hosting Texas A&M. At Auburn, hosting Texas, hosting Alabama. It's not a cakewalk schedule, folks. Ole Miss, I'm going to their week 1 game. I might be going down to their campus for college game day week 3. Maybe. Nothing's confirmed, folks. Don't be like, okay, guys going down there. No, nothing confirmed. But they bring back Trinidad Chambliss. He got that year of eligibility back. He's a lot of people are saying Heisman. And people are like, oh, there's no need to be concerned about Pete Golding, right? Because they blew out Tulane in the playoffs. They upset Georgia in the playoffs. They almost beat Miami. They almost played for a national championship. But a lot of people say, oh yeah, it was Charlie Weiss Jr.'s offense, not Kiffin's. Well, Kiffin may have left, but Charlie Weiss Jr. was still there. So maybe Trinidad Chambliss will plummet down without Charlie Weiss there. Just a thought. Maybe that will be the case. Just a thought, Mr. Fox. But yeah, and then, so I don't know about that. Tough schedule. Hosting LSU. Well, Louisville neutral site. Only preseason top 25 matchup in week 1. Hosting LSU at Texas. This is not an easy schedule. No SEC team has an easy schedule. At Vanderbilt is sneaky. So we don't know. We don't know. But in Pete Golding, it's a lot easier to just keep the ship afloat. He was the permanent coach then, but he served the same duty as an interim coach. Now, this is his team. It's his boat. It's no longer Kiffin's boat. It's his boat. So we shall see what happens there. Mississippi State went to a bowl game last year despite going 5-7. Lost that game 5-8. But Jeff Lebby, year 1 was bad, 2-10. But last year it kind of felt like, okay, things are getting good. We upset Arizona State. We almost upset Tennessee. They were a bit sneaky. And people are high on Kamario Taylor. Maybe special things can happen. But what they have to do is, if they're in game-winning field goal range, like they were against Florida, don't throw it, hand it off, or knee it, because you're in field goal range, and then kick the walk-off if Blake Shapen got picked. But yeah, Mississippi State, they can be a sneaky team. Maybe Jeff Lebby starting to break through. But if he doesn't, he's one of the few SEC coaches on the hot seat, in my opinion. Missouri. No more Bo Prabula. That was kind of a fun time. But Drinkwitz is doing a good job. 9 wins, I think, last year. Maybe only 8. And 10 wins the prior 2 years. It felt like after that 11-2 season, winning the Cotton Bowl and beating Ohio State, although Kyle McCord already had transferred and was gone, and then their backup got hurt, and Marvin Harrison Jr. opted out. But still, the next year with the 12-team playoff, the expectation was, with Brady Cook back, although Cody Schrader left, the expectation was making the playoffs, but it was a bit of a disappointment. They reached the 10th win via bowl game. We shall see what goes on with Missouri. Now my dark horse, South Carolina. Last year was, of course, a shocking disappointment, 4-8, disappointment all around. But Sellers, highest upside in all of college football? I think so. I think very potentially so. And then, so some hype there. Dylan Stewart's there, although apparently he has health problems, or he's not always healthy, apparently. But they have a good team. I heard from David Pollock. They've got a fantastic wide receiver for his size. They can be sneaky. David Pollock seeing it that way, too. I'm seeing 8-4. I'm seeing playoff. Me and David Pollock are on the same page there. Kentucky fired Mark Stoops. He was a long-tenured coach there. Bring in Oregon's offensive coordinator, Will Stein. Oregon's had a good offense, so that seems good. Don't expect anything great year 1. It's year 1. A first-year coach in the SEC. Very hard to be successful. But we shall see. Maybe a sneaky team. LSU comes to town. I don't know. Not expecting anything, but kind of just a getting to know Will Stein, getting to know what can happen year. Florida. A lot of people are like, John Summerall, he is the guy. I'm not so sure. He wasn't as good as Willie Fritz at Tulane. Like, you're like, but he made the playoffs. Willie Fritz never did. But Willie Fritz actually won a New Year's Six Bowl and beat USC. That year, they would have made the playoffs if it was a 12-team playoff. Next year, lost in the AAC championship game and then lost in their bowl game. Kind of a disappointment, but I don't know. And I think I saw a funny video being like, comparing John, like, it was like Florida fans being all excited, and I was like, oh, where have we seen this before? Oh, yeah. Billy, group of 5 coaches who had coached schools from Louisiana. Billy Napier coached Louisiana. John Summerall, Tulane, and they had almost like identical records. I didn't come up with that. It was like a funny video. I can't remember who posted it. Maybe it was SEC Shorts. I don't know. But so maybe don't get too excited. Everyone's pumped about this hire. I don't know. But they could be a sneaky team. Last and sorry folks, probably least. Sorry, Arkansas fans. The Arkansas Razorbacks fired Sam Pittman. Never a good hire. I heard he was an offensive line coach at Georgia. That was his only job. Yeesh, I did not know that. But they finally pulled the trigger on Sam Pittman, and now they hire Ryan Silverfield. I think Josh Pate doesn't like this hire because Ryan Silverfield was never that good at Memphis, or it was someone. But I don't know. Don't expect anything good. They won 2 games last year. Looking at their schedule, Josh Pate has them winning 3 games. I can't remember exactly who they play. But yeah, they'll probably be the worst team in the SEC again. Josh Pate thinks that, and I tend to agree. So we shall see. But don't expect anything big there at Arkansas. Before we wrap up this episode of SEC Thursday, let's get to the trivia question of the day. The category is football north of the border. Which 2024 NFL draftee played in the CFL in 2023? Was it A, Quantez Stiggers, B, Matthew Bergeron, C, Sidney Brown, or D, Chase Brown? The answer to the trivia question is A, Quantez Stiggers. The Jets selected the cornerback in the 5th round. He had played for the Toronto Argonauts in 2023. The Atlanta native briefly went to Lane College in Tennessee, where he did not play football. He was the 2023 CFL Rookie of the Year. So that is the answer to your trivia question for Thursday, August 27th, 2026. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of SEC Thursday. Tell me in the comments, who do you think will be the best team in the SEC tomorrow? Probably expect it late because I have to go to school and film the episode and all that. But expect an episode of I'm going to reveal my bracket and my Heisman prediction and maybe do some bold predictions. So it's kind of just a prediction episode down here. And then it'll be time the next day for my week 0 college football pregame show. College football pregame show will be back. But thank you guys for tuning in to SEC Thursday. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, I would really appreciate it if you would like to subscribe. Looking to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you next time on the Guy Summers on college football takeover. Excuse me. See you next time on college football takeover. Until then, stay safe. Bye, folks.